Now, how would you think? I mean, they have settled in California, and if you do have an interest in being a Democrat candidate, California is the place to be, particularly if you're fairly mediocre as a candidate. Do you think, given that the response to the podcast and the Netflix series and what they've done hasn't been exactly overwhelming, that she will put up her hand at some point to be a politician and give herself that credibility and that gravitas?
It's interesting because she is a smart girl. She went to Northwestern. She was a Kappa. She's hustled her whole life. She's spoken at the UN. I mean, I performed at the UN. It can't be too exclusive, but she's done a lot of things. So she probably thinks in her mind, she probably believes in her mind that running for office is, the next step for her, like if she hadn't become a duchess. But I think it's been a rude awakening for Harry and Meghan that we don't have royalty here in the States. Are you guys the Duke and Duchess of Soho House? I don't know. Are you going to run for city council in Montecito? I don't know what role you're going to have, but we don't have titles here. They don't carry the same weight. And, when it comes to shining a light on organizations and doing good, I feel like they could have done a lot more good staying over in the UK, like William and Kate, who can show up to different organizations and raise money and do funding that way. Because being like an ex-duchess here in California in Los Angeles, it's like, okay, what is that?
Yeah, I think the novelty factor with the couple has well and truly worn off in Hollywood. Now, They're not going to like this either, because this is going to be something that I think they would have seen as a massive opportunity to promote their brand. But from what we're hearing, Harry and Meghan aren't going to be major players in the coronation. They're going to be called, they've been described as fringe players at the King's coronation. That's if they choose to attend. Do we have any clarity yet on whether they're going to show up and what their role will be?
I don't know. I feel like we're still doing this cat and mouse game, Rita. I feel like our chances of making it onto the balcony are higher than theirs at this point. I don't know what's going on. I honestly hope they make it to the coronation just for continuity throughout history. But the thing is, it should be about Charles and Camilla. I mean, Charles, this poor man, he's waited almost 80 years to be king. Charles used to cry himself to sleep at night going, when is mommy going to go to heaven? I want to be king. Why can't I be king? He's waited decades and decades and decades. And then you've got Camilla. This is a really big deal for Camilla as well, because it's not just a coronation. This is her graduation from mistress to queen. Like, she's going from side chick to queen. She has hung in there for decades and decades, back from when Charles said he wanted to be a tampon and live inside of her. Like, this coronation, they finally made it to the coronation. She's like here. She's like in the Olympics of side chicks, and now she's going to be the queen or queen consort or queen concubine, whatever they're going to call her.
Queen's consort, yes.
Yes. And I just hope that it's about Charles and Camilla. I do hope that at some point, if Harry and Meghan are there, that Prince George leans over and goes, I loved your episode of South Park. I hope that happens, but who knows if they're going to make it to the coronation.
Oh, that would be hilarious. But Camilla's going to be the Queen's consort, not a concubine, and no longer a side chick, as I don't think she's ever been called a side chick before Link. So I think that will be a first, certainly on Sky News.
I respect the hustle. I mean, the broad has hung in there for decades and decades and decades. Like, she deserves this. She earns this. I mean, the most controversial thing I've ever said online is, I don't hate Camilla. I actually kind of like Camilla. I think she'd be fun to hang out with and throw them back with, to be honest. I'm excited for them.
I think that's not an unpopular opinion. I think, yes, for a period there, she was probably the most hated woman in Britain, but no longer. I think she is actually very well regarded. People do see her as someone who'd be a good time to, have a drink and a smoke with. And the fact that, she was a victim of circumstance in a way. She was in love with this prince, and he went off and married somebody else. And now they're living happily ever after. Link Lauren, thank you so much.